Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in today's video I want to talk about something that has become extremely common in the skincare world over the last few years. Now you may have noticed that suddenly almost every brand has a barrier repair product, whether it's a toner, a serum, a moisturizer or even a balm. And this raises a very simple question. Why do so many people suddenly have skin barrier problems? Because if you look back even 10 or 15 years, this wasn't nearly as widespread as it is today. So today I want to explain how this happened, what is actually driving this rise in barrier issues, and why it isn't as mysterious as it looks. And as always, my goal is to simply make this topic easier to understand and to give you some clarity, not to create any fear or make anyone feel like that they've done something wrong. So the first thing we need to look at is how skincare routines have changed over time. Years ago, you might have used just 2 or maybe 3 products. Maybe a basic cleanser, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen when it was needed. But today, it is completely normal to use several products, sometimes 5 or 6 steps, and even more when different actives are added in, especially with Korean multi-step routines becoming so popular. Daily acids became popular. Retinoids became something many people feel like they should use. Double cleansing became the new standard, and a stronger foaming cleanser are still everywhere. And all of this leads to something very simple. The more products you use, especially the more active ingredients, the higher the chance of irritation. Now, this does not happen because products are bad and not because companies are trying to harm anyone, but simply because the skin can only handle so much at once. When you exfoliate too often, or cleanse too aggressively, or layer too many actives, the barrier becomes stressed. And even when the products are gentle, layering many hydrating steps on top of each other can keep the skin constantly damp, and that alone can also make the barrier more fragile over time. And when the barrier becomes more fragile like this, it often shows up as redness, dryness, stinging, sensitivity, or even breakouts. And over time, these changes became so common that the skincare industry naturally shifted its focus, because it reacts to trends just like any other industry. So it's not that brands intentionally create problems. It's that trends create certain effects and companies respond by offering solutions. But this also creates a cycle that is very easy to fall into. A new trend appears and you add more steps. Your skin becomes irritated, then the barrier repair products are released to fix the irritation. You add those as well. And before you realize it, your routine becomes more complicated than it needs to be. You're not doing anything wrong, you are simply following the advice you see everywhere, which often suggests that more skincare means better skincare. But in reality, the skin doesn't need that many steps. So basically, a lot of the sensitivity that shows up today comes from routines that are simply too strong or too frequent for what your skin can handle. Now, something else that is important to understand is that not everyone is experiencing these barrier problems. Some people have skin that stays steady and calm even while routines around them keep getting more complicated. And this often comes back to the fact that their skin was never pushed too far in the first place. If someone spent most of their life using only a few basic products or didn't expose their skin to constant cleansing or daily actives, their barrier developed under very, very low stress. So it naturally stays stronger and more stable, and everyday life doesn't affect it as easily. But if you're someone who uses a lot of modern skincare, it can look very different. There's much more cleansing, more exfoliation, more actives, so more steps, and simply much more pressure to keep doing something for your skin every single day. And all of this builds up over time. And even if each individual product is gentle, the combination can slowly wear down the barrier until sensitive becomes the new normal. This is why so many people today feel like their skin is reactive, while others barely think about their barrier at all. So my recommendation is to keep your routine as gentle and as simple as it needs to be for your skin right now. You don't have to use every single ingredient at the same time. You don't need daily exfoliation, and you don't need to cleanse every single day if you're not wearing any makeup or sunscreen. Sometimes the most helpful step is actually taking away a few steps, giving your skin room to recover and letting your barrier rebuild itself. And once the barrier becomes healthy again, your skin settles, becomes less reactive, and no longer needs constant soothing or repair products to feel comfortable. And that's what I want to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Happy skincaring!